back again for the West Ham official English Premier League 2021-2022 season. Now I'm joined by Charlieboy all the way over from the US of A.
Yes.
How you doing, Charlie?
I'm doing good, B. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Enjoying a bit of non-West Ham related stuff, but we can still talk about it. So it's all good. It's all good. But let me ask you, mate, before we get started on all this sort of stuff, it'd be interesting to know how you rated, because I like to ask people how they rated the transfer window. How did you rate it?
You give it a number, but I'll just say like this, like I said on my little thing. I said it's a good one. I think it could have been a great one. And that's not a shot at anybody or Moyes or the board or anybody, but I just feel like if we would have got the left back and a striker, that would have made it like, wow, okay, that would have made it beautiful with all the guys we got. And but it's still good. I think we could work with it. But just the reason why I wanted it to be a great, well, we always wanted it to be a great one. But, we got Europa. So it's like, I just wanted to, if we could have got like Urigi or someone, you know what I mean, to back up Antonio. You know what I mean? Or maybe even challenge him. But as way he's playing right now, I don't know if anybody could challenge him for the top spot.
I agree. But I just think like a striker was definitely needed at this club, 100%. And I think us not getting one, I just hope it don't come back and kill us in the end. Let's take some comments before I move on, Charlieboy. Let's have a look. You got Hammers Fans United. Hello, mate. Hope you're well. Jay Woods. Always a pleasure to see you, mate. He was on the first YouTube channel I was on, and he's on this one. It's good to have you, mate. Gaz, what do you lads think of Lingard turning down new contract offer? I'll get onto that in 1 second, and I will get hi Gaz and
hey Gaz, basically Jay Woods.
We will get into it now, then, mate. What do you make of that with Lingard turning down his contract? I believe he comes in January. I'm pretty certain on that. What do you reckon?
I think he wants playing time. He definitely wants to keep playing for England. That's not going to happen if he stays where he's at. Their squad is deep. They got a lot of heavy hitters over there. I don't know why he didn't come. I don't know if it was the fee couldn't get negotiated or, the ins and outs of it, but I wish we could have had him. But him turning down the contract, that's looking better for us, right? And he's definitely wanting more playing time, so he's got to probably want to come. We know he likes London. All the videos he made, you could tell by how he was acting, his charisma, talking about. He loved it. He loved being in London. That's only good for us, I think.
Yeah,
I agree. It's only good for us. So if he comes in January, hey, I'll be moonwalking. That would be. We didn't get the striker, but I tell you what, if he comes in January, that'd make me feel a little bit better. That really would.
Do you know what? You're right there. I think if he comes, it makes up for the striker, in my opinion. I think that we basically have to be getting some sort of one more player. I think we're one player short again. But if you was rating it, Charlie, out of 10, how would you rate the transfer window?
No, I'd probably give it a 7. I'd probably give it a 7. I give it a 7.
Yeah. And what's what would have made it an 8, and what would have made it a 9 and a 10, in your opinion?
An 8. What if we would have got the geezer from the Argentine cat at left back? Because there's no one to back up Crest, and I know they say, we can't use the backup right back because he's the backup right back for the right back. You know what I mean? It's like that would have made it an 8. And if you would have added him and a cat like a man like Origi to come in, that would have made it like a 9-10. You understand? And Titch was saying on my video, he said, well, maybe we did offer Origi, but since he's been second fiddle at the team where he's at now, maybe he's looking at Antonio with the number 9 and the form he's in. Maybe he's like, wait, I want to play. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know why we didn't get one. I just hope it's not. I'd rather it be that than it to be they wouldn't give Moyes the extra 10, 15 or whatever. And maybe we could have got him on loan. So I don't know.
Yeah.
The ins and outs is you never
It's
know
one of
what it
them.
is.
It's one of them ones, really. I just think it's. I think Man United were playing hardball, and we weren't going to pay the money that they was expected. I just want to answer this question from Jay Woods here. James and Charlie, what is the maximum you would pay for Lingard in January? I'll start off with this. I think 10 million is about right. For a man who's got 6 months left on his contract, I think if you want to go and win something this year, that 10 million will be well spent, in my opinion, on winning something. From January to the end of the season, if we end up winning a trophy, 10 million is peanuts in today's market. What do you think, Charlie?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I would say 10, no more than like 12 or 15, only because his contract, like you said, it ends, right? And it's not even like we're getting him at the beginning of the season. We'd be getting him in January just to finish the back end, Now, I mean, listen, I wish it would be for more. Hopefully, if we get him in January, I hope he maybe gets a little negotiation where we could extend it. You know what I mean? A couple years, you know what I mean? That would be the ideal situation, But if we would have got him at the beginning, like this, I would have probably said 15 to 20. But now it would be in January. It'd have to be like 10 to 15.
Right. And I agree with that. Right. Let's get into this 23-man team that we've got. And let's start off with the goalkeepers. Areola, Fabianski, Martin and Randolph. What do you make of that, Charlie? Of them four, are you surprised that Randolph's still here?
Nah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. We got four. I'm kind of surprised Martin's still around. He's getting up there. He's getting up there. But I thought Randolph was going to be sent out. I thought somebody's going to come in for him. I don't know. Yeah, it's all right. I'm happy. Listen, I love Areola. I've rated him from time before when he was still at Fulham. Like we was on Lee's show, and me and you were saying I remember you was on the show with me. You said, "Yo, I would bring in if they go down, I'd bring in Areola." Nobody was talking about him. No, we wasn't linked to him. Nothing. So I've rated him from time, even before he was at Fulham. So hey,
I like Areola, mate. I always have. Ever since I watched him at Fulham, I went, "Well, what a goalkeeper he is!" He's only 28 and all, so it's like he's a top talent for like a 28-year-old. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, I'll rate him.
Do you reckon? When does he start for you, Charlie? Areola?
He would have started for me probably 2 weeks ago. And people when they're getting their feelings, you forgot what Fabs did, and all. No, I ain't forgetting nothing. I'm looking at talent. Listen, the best man's gonna play. In my football eyes, I can see what Areola can do, and I can see Fabs ain't as young as he once was. His ball distribution is out of control. The last two, I mean, like the Newcastle game, he rolled it to Vladdy. Almiron was standing literally right next to him. It's like, brother, you're not paying attention. Then he did the goal kick versus Crystal Palace. He goes to boot it 60 yards and he kicks it right to Benteke. Like, bro, that's going to put us in a dangerous situation. They're like, it's not being mean. There's no hard feelings. The best player plays. You know what I'm saying? You know how many times the gaffer put up the paper and my name wasn't selected? I didn't go crying and boo-hoo-hooing. Mans did better than me in training. That's what it is. Areola is a talent, man. People just going to have to realize it.
I've got to admit, West Ham are known for being sentimental. For years, some of the players that have played for West Ham, I don't know how they've carried on playing, but we seem to sort of go, you know what? We respect their loyalty, I think, more than anything. But I agree with you. I think Areola has to play. I think he will win us more points this year than Fab, I believe. But I can't knock Fab.
My old man, he's from Canada. He used to say, you can't love a player more than you love the club. That don't make any sense. You understand? Like, Pablo's my guy, okay? If someone comes in and is doing bits way more than Pablo, hey, that man deserves the spot. That's how athletics goes. You understand? It's like, but I mean, it is a good situation to have Areola and Fabs. Now people be like, why you say Fab's even retired from national football? So he's like saying, hey, I'm getting towards the end. So I don't understand why people don't want to. Now, no, that's not disrespect. Saying some people say, oh, you're disrespecting him. No, I'm just saying Areola's the younger guy. He has more, he has more about him. His ball distribution is better. He has quicker reflexes. And they're like, oh, you picking on Fabs. Like, no, nobody's picking on Fabs. You think, like when Moyes changes somebody in the lineup, is that picking on? No, that's just the way football goes, man. But I mean, I can understand why some people get in their feelings, but me, I don't. Best man plays. I don't care. You know what I mean? If you deserve the bench, you deserve the bench. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, I agree. I think Areola is a better goalkeeper. He's younger, fitter, fresher. And yeah, I agree with you, mate. I really do. I think his time is now, and he has to play now. Like, I don't agree. I would have gone the other way myself. I would have gone Areola in the Prem and Fab in the Europa League. Like, if Areola's here for the next, say, 5 years, he might get Europa League again. But I'm sorry, but the way they've done it, Premier League for Fab and Areola for Europa, yeah, it don't really cut.
And he's not confident on goal. He'll roll it to one of the center backs or whatever, because he does not feel confident. And I think that's because of his hip injury. People got to take that into mind too. Now think, when you lunge to the right or you lunge to the left, you're using most of your hip. He had to have, you know what I mean? He had serious injury. Like, he missed time from that. You know what I mean? And I think that's affecting his ball distribution and his lunging. It has to be.
I must admit, I do agree on that, especially especially the way he dives about. He's not very. He's a good shot stopper, Fab, but he does make the odd error. But we'll move on to the defence, and this is our defence, Charlieboy. Kafal, Cresswell, Dawson, Diop, Fredericks, Masuaku, Obona, and Zuma. First thing I'm going to ask you is, are we light defensively, in your opinion?
I'm gonna say yes, because Cresswell doesn't have a backup. I would say yes and no, if I could say that, because I think Zuma could do bits. We got to see what he's gonna do. Vladimir, I just put him in my. I selected him on Titch's thing. You had to pick one from each team in the Prem. I didn't go with Rice. I went with Vladdy. Shouts out Titch. You got to do that. You got to go on his channel and do a whole Prem thing. But we're a little bit stronger though with Zuma. We are stronger with Zuma, but having no backup for Cresswell. I know they could say, oh well, Masuaku. Listen, I rate Masuaku going forward. He's a wingback. Defensively, you know what I mean. It is what it is. That's just the truth. Dawson, he was a good servant for us last year. He's a good soldier, but listen, and that's another one people get upset when if you say Zuma's gonna start, they go, "Oh my God, you forgot what Dawson's like." Well, relax. I'm just saying, Zuma, put him in. They do my nutting with that, man. It's like dude the other day asked me, says, "Does Dawson get in the England team right now?" I'm like, "No." And he's like, "Why are you slating him?" Like, what am I slating him? They're not calling him up to the England team. What are you, nuts? That's not but nah, I would say, yeah, I'd like to be a little bit stronger, man. And my boy Ogbonna, he's getting a little. You can see him slowing down. I think it might be age and it might be his injury. He's man, I don't know. Hopefully Zuma cleans that up though, with his athletic, his speed, his pace. But yeah, I'm a little bit concerned. I'd like to have at least another top center back and left back, if I'm honest.
What do you? What's your defensive two? Obviously, Zuma's going to be the one. Who's the other one for you?
You mean the top guys?
Yeah.
Oh, it'd have to be Vladdy or Ogbonna. Vladdy's just out of this world. Last year's Ogbonna and the year before, I'd probably put him to 1 and 2. Oh, you mean my center backs?
Yes.
Oh, Ogbonna and Zuma. But I still rate Diop, and I think he, it's funny how you can't say nothing about Dawson. You can't even say he should be benched. But But you can say whatever you want about Diop, and everybody's like, "Oh, go on, then, go on." You know, you could even curse him. You could probably say something about his mother, and nobody would say anything. You know, they just let you do it, right? And I just don't see how everybody slags him off so bad. Yeah, he makes, I would call him youthful errors, right? Yeah, he gets in bad positions sometimes, but he's still, what, 23, 24? Like, come on, man. And maybe him and Zuma both speak the same language. Then you rock up with Areola. Then you got the French connection. Yeah. Listen, I still believe in Diop, but my two would definitely be Ogbonna for his veteran leadership, and then, you know, Zuma, because, listen, he's different gravy. I think he's going to come in and do absolute bits for us.
Do you think, Charlie, that this is, you just mentioned him there, do you think it's Diop's last year to sort of prove to the West Ham fans that he's a decent player?
I don't know. You know what? I think I remember last year when he cleared a bunch of balls and made a 60-yard pass on the dot to Bowen. Like, beautiful.
Leicester at home, that was, mate.
And they still wouldn't give him any credit. I'm like, yo, he should have got man of the match. And they still wouldn't say a nice word about him. So, you know, at this point, I don't even know if he could prove. Even if he did good, I don't think they would give him the credit. I mean, I honestly believe that. I don't understand why he gets slagged off like he does, man. It's crazy. He's still a young kid. Some people don't realize how hard organized football is to play at this level. You understand? Like, they just give up on him already. It's just crazy.
I agree, mate. I agree. Moving on to the midfield four. What do you make of this four, mate? Because I know it's highly unlikely, but it is possible that that four-man midfield. Do you think we're light in that position? And I do look at that four, because obviously I put Fornals in the attacking aspect of like the squad, because that's where he plays. He's not a midfielder. He's an attacking, number 10 basically. So in that four, Rice, Souček, Noble, and Král, do you think it was right for Connor to go out the door, considering Connor would have been eligible possibly because he's under 23?
I like I said on my channel, I would have kept Connor. I would have kept him. When I seen him in preseason, he looked like he had the strength about him. His positioning was on point. He was where he needed to be. He was putting balls. Also, he was making good passes. Everything about his, and we wasn't playing no slouches. You know what I'm saying? There was a few of our little preseason games where we was up against quality competition in the midfield, and he wasn't like, you know, oh, he was doing okay. He was handling his bits. Like, he was doing business out there. Like, I think we should have kept him, you know, just for depth reasons. But the one thing about it is that's good is in the loaner, where we could bring him back whenever we want to. You understand? So at least we have that option. But honestly, I would have kept him because, you know, certain Europa games, I would have been. I got to see a little bit more of Král, but, you know, him and Král could have went against the weaker sides and of Wank or Jank or whatever their name is over there, the one team we got in certain Europa games, you know, because we got to give the boys a rest. Rice played every game. Him and Souček played every game last year. They played international ball. This is Noble's last year. He's already said it either the year before or whatever, that he can't be starting. He's got to slow down and get not that many minutes. That's his words, not mine, you know. So I would have kept him. I would have kept him for depth.
Yeah, I agree. And I've said this before. I think Connor done enough in the pre-season to warrant staying at the club. I don't understand. I understand the loan. Don't get me wrong, but maybe we should have kept him for 6 months, and then come January, you make a decision to loan him out for the next 6. Like, if God forbid, but if Rice or Souček go down, we're going to have Noble and Král in there, and it just doesn't set any alarm bells with me, like, massively. Noble, it's going to be an emotional last year. I don't think he's sort of gone like we haven't really sort of processed it yet. But I think when next year comes and the games start counting down, everyone will start looking at Noble and knowing that it's his last time. Do you know what I mean? Basically, and that's really it, mate. I just want to look at a couple of these comments. Right, I got Scott in the house. Jay Wood says Ben Johnson wasn't listed in the A squad because of his age. Frees up a place in January for a senior player. It's probably Jesse Lingard, mate. If I'm honest, it really is. It's possibly Jesse Lingard. But what do you make of Crowell, mate? What do you think on? What's your thoughts on Crowell?
I think, listen, for what we paid for him, I think he's all right. I think people being a little bit harsh on his international, his run out then, but they're looking for goals and this and that, and that's just not his game. You understand? He's a defensive mid, and like I said, he's young. He's sitting there next to two of the best midfielders in the Premier League. Plus, he's got two of his guys on the team that checkmates to help bring him along. He even speaks English damn well. I heard his interviews, so he ain't gonna have no problems communicating. A lot of people saying he could be Rice's replacement. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm not in the know. I don't know none of that stuff. But we had to give him a shot, right? I don't want to. It wasn't one of those ones where I was like super buzzing that we got him. But I looked at him. I was like, yo, he's depth. He looks like he could play a bit. So I was happy with it. He could turn out to be something.
And now, finally, we come down to the attackers. Now, the reason why I've just seen Scott's comment in the comment section about Lanzini. We all know Lanzini is an attacking player. He can play as a deep line midfielder, but that is your attackers: Antonio, Benrahma, Bowen, Fornals, Lanzini, Vlasic, and Yarmolenko. First things first, Charlie, before I clear this, is do you think that's a good enough attack line, considering Yarmolenko and Lanzini isn't really like prolific and they've been coming on the pitch and doing stuff? We're basically relying on a front five now of Antonio, Benrahma, Bowen, Fornals, and Vlasic to sort of get us the goals.
I call Bowen, Benrahma, Fornals, and Antonio the four horsemen. Them four, they could rotate, especially Benrahma and Fornals. They could each go on the wing. They could each go at the 10 spot during, in the middle of the game, just whenever. So I feel comfortable with them. We all know how I feel about Yarmo. No disrespect to Yarmo, but he just we're a counterattacking side, and he has no pace, and they stick him way out there on the wing. It takes him forever to get – he wants to get on his left foot, so we stick him so far away. You understand that? It's like they know what he's going to do. So right then the defense is at an advantage when he comes in. Tracking back, the winger has to work with the fullback in this system. That's just the way it is. He has to track the runner. He's just not capable of doing that. And for what we paying him, for him to only come in once every other week for 5 minutes, that's crazy. I'm confident with the four that usually play, but if one goes down, us not having a backup striker, Vlasic's gonna have to be that guy. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I've seen his highlights in his training. I like his training regimen. His videos I've seen, he works hard, but can that come into the Premier League and doing that's a whole different situation. I'm not gonna lie and be like, oh, I've watched him play all these games, and I'm gonna tell you because I don't know. But we need if Vlasic ain't that guy and somebody goes down, we are gonna be in a world of hurt as far as our attack goes.
I agree.
That's just that's what it is.
I agree with that. Absolutely 100%. I look at Antonio as the problem at the end of the day. Right? For how well Antonio does, he's always one run away from a bad injury. And it ain't just an injury that's going to keep him out for a week or two. It's an injury that's going to keep him out for months. And when I look at it, you take Antonio out, the rest of them are all small players. Fornals, Benrahma. Like, I'm not being funny. I love Benrahma, as everyone knows. But I can't – listen, if he goes up front, I just don't think you're going to get the best of the man. Like, it's as simple as that. You're going to get a man who's just – he's going to go missing. Fornals is not a striker. Bowen is a striker, but you can only play one way with Bowen, and that's on the ground and around defences rather than in a team where you've got Antonio to hold the ball up and got runners beyond. So it's a concern. Like I don't. Why is it, Charlie, that we don't go and buy a striker? Like, is it because we're scared that, or is it that we've picked so many bad strikers before that we have not got no faith in getting one?
To be honest, I don't know if it was maybe they didn't want to fork out an extra bit of money for Moyes, or if Moyes was like, "Yo, I could make this work," or if Moyes maybe wanted to re somebody, and then those strikers are looking at Antonio, especially getting a number 9 shirt, and they're like, "Well, I'm already second fiddle over here. I'm not gonna come to West Ham and be second fiddle too," So I don't know, but it definitely. It's like, the reason why we didn't get one, I don't know. But I wish we could have got somebody. Now, maybe Okaflex could come in and be that guy. Maybe Moyes is thinking maybe he has some confidence that we don't. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm not at training, but maybe he's looking at Okaflex and maybe, I don't know, 5-10 weeks. Hey, if I need him to be the backup number 9, he could come in and do the bits. Or maybe he believes in Vlasic like, maybe he just has a feeling that with what he sees in Vlasic, he could turn it into, he could put him up top and make it happen. So,
what's your expectations with these players? Obviously, we've signed Areola. We haven't seen Areola yet. We haven't seen any of these players yet, to be frank. But we've seen Zuma in the Premier League, and we know what Zuma is, and we know how well he can play. Krell is an unknown player. Didn't really have a good Euros. No, anyone who says will say it wasn't a good Euros from him. And Vlasic, he's had, from what I've seen, this is my own personal opinion, I've seen him have one good game at the Euros, and that was against Scotland where he won man of the match. Other than that, he hasn't really done anything else. What's your expectations, Charlie, from these 4 signings that we've signed?
Well, I'll say this 100%. I vouch for Areola. I'll put my name, my hat, however you want to say it. I vouch for that guy. With my football IQ, how I judge players, I put my name behind him. In the neighborhood, they say, "Do you vouch for him?" And that's a serious question. You vouch for somebody that's serious where I'm from. Zuma, vouching for him, I don't know, but I've seen his quality. I've seen him do it in the Prem. He's looked real decent. He can move with the ball. He's got the pace to get back. He's got the, if we get set pieces and stuff, he can put his nut on one. I've seen him do it. Now, Vlasic and Krall, I don't know. But I'm not going to be too hard on Krall because he's still, he's 22, 23. He's a young pup. Didn't have the best Euros, but playing, I've had games where I didn't play good for, I don't know, 3 or 4 games. And in the next 4 or 5 games, if you was watching those, I was amazing, phenomenal. So it happens, it happens. But I would say I do like what I see from Vlasic in his training. Because if you showing up 5 hours early to the spot before everybody else, that tells me you like on some Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James type situation. Like they show up before, and that's why they're the greatest, And I seen him doing these 3 or 4 different drills, and the pace that he was doing them. I've seen these drills. I've seen hundreds of people do these drills. I was like, damn, that's crazy for him to go through them cones like that, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. I mean, a bunch of them, and not lose it one time. And the amount of speed he did it. Now, that's just training. But I was like, listen, if he works that hard and he's got that in his mind, he's gonna come here and do good. I haven't seen that much of Krall. Only thing I seen him was the Euros, but I'm not gonna write him off just for that because it's only a few games. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. And is there, to sort of end it on this, is there any youngsters who you can see coming up and getting a chance in this team from the youth setup, other than obviously Conor Coventry's gone out on loan, Alves has gone out on loan? Is there anyone that you can see sort of getting their foot in the door, basically?
Well, to tell you the truth, I hope it's It would have to be. I'm not at training, but who I would want it to be is Oko Flex and the left back. Oh shit, what's his name?
Longello.
Longello. It has to be them two. I haven't seen enough of them to where I could really give an honest opinion, but it has to be those two. And my one honest opinion, they sent him out on loan. I think he was ready to go. I think he was ready to get a few runouts. Maybe not start every game in the Prem. I'm not saying that, right? But I'm saying like there was Europa situations where I think these teams that we have in the group stage, especially, I'd have feel comfortable with him in there. He did good in the preseason versus top quality teams. His positioning was right. He was where he needed to be. He really didn't put a foot wrong. He was in tune with the other center fielder. He was playing in good balls. I mean, he was doing everything you want him to do. And he looked like he got a bit stronger from the year before. So,
see, Jay Woods puts a good comment here. He said, youngsters I will consider Oko Flex.
Well, at least he's on loan.
Where's he gone on loan to, Charlie?
Oh, not at least. I was thinking, I'm thinking of the other guy, Alves. My bad. I got my A's mixed up.
Yeah, and I agree with them. Like Neves, like you got Oko Flex, Baptiste.
I forgot about Elise. He's a big unit. He's a big unit out there.
See that even this man here, Aqua, I think he's very, very good. And there's Forson and all who I like. I do like Forson. I think he's a top player and a decent player at that.
I was rating Forson in the preseason too. Me and Peach was when I was watching him. I thought he did bits. Only thing with the young guys is like Moyes, he's not big on like with Bowen. He even said, I'm not gonna rush him out there, and he brought him in from the champion, the lower league or whatever. Didn't want to rush him out there. He did the same thing with Fornals. He kept him on the bench. So, but what's crazy is he threw Meepo out in the fire, I thought.
Yeah.
When he did that. I thought that was crazy because that's not like Moisey. But listen, Oko Flex, because we need to back up somebody that could go up top. But yeah, at least I forgot about him. He's a unit. He is a friggin' unit.
I agree with you there. He did throw Meepo massively under it. And speaking of mention about Meepo, what do you make of his loan, Charlie, to Huddersfield?
I think we should. I think it's good. I think it's a little bit late. I think we should have loaned him already, so he could have got that. He could have got pound. A little bit of pound on him. You know what I mean? Get toughened up a little bit. Get some run out. You know what I mean? He got thrown into the fire. Who was that verse? It was an FA game, wasn't it?
Yeah, FA Cup game against Manchester United. That was away. He come on the 60th minute, and I believe, and he had an hour. And he got subbed because he has extra time, and he got subbed. I think it was an hour or half hour or something he had, and he got subbed. And I thought Moyes threw him under the bus really, but I must admit he did look like a rabbit in headlights. He didn't look.
No, he
didn't
did.
Look.
He did. And the weeks before, he could have got a run out because we was playing low level teams. And he didn't. I was like, you don't give him the run out then. But you're going to throw him in. What was it, Man United?
Oh, got some breaking news. Breaking news.
Liverpool.
Flassage has just scored.
I got cast out of the bet, too. I was like, you know what? I'm a dummy. I should have left that in. Son of a bitch.
This is not a gambling show. It's a very much gambling show. Just watch my videos. I must admit, with Meepo, I think it's a good loan. I think it is a good loan for him. I think it's a good club for him and all. I think if he keeps Huddersfield up, then we know we've got a talent. Because if he scores 15, 20 goals against teams who are going to be ex-Premier League teams, good defences, some of them, in that championship, and he scores 15 goals for a team who's basically favourites to go down, then
how
for me,
he's a young pup too.
I think he's about 19, 19, 20, something like that. Yeah, he's only young.
Yeah,
but I think if he can score the goals, it keeps him up. Then I think it's great for us. Obviously, with Connor, that's a different one. I think Connor proved in pre-season that he could do the job for us. Like I think he was, and to me, I don't know about you, Charlie, but I think that's Mark Noble's replacement next year. I think Noble retires and Connor comes in, and
You know what? I really rate Forson too. I know I only, from what I did see of him, I was like, wow, hey, listen, I really rate that young kid.
Yeah,
I really do. So
I think Forson's like a mini Kante. Gets about the pitch, very, very good.
What was they calling the Cannon Town Conte?
Yeah,
I love it. But I think Moyes or somebody also believed in Connor as well, because they wouldn't have made that deal. Okay, we're going on loan, but if we want to bring him back, that's up to us. We could bring him back if we want to. So I think in the back of their mind, they had that as well. Like, okay, let's give him a little bit of playing time. But I think they wanted to keep that in there because I do think they believe in him. And I would have kept him. Our depth, even with Vlasic, all that, I would have still kept him. Because I love Lanzini. People's like, oh, he could play the holding role. He could be defensive, blah. Because he did it versus Burnley.
Charlie. Milenkovic also scored an own goal.
Oh, shit. What's the score of the game? Who's winning?
Yeah.
Is Croatia winning?
Yeah, someone did give us a score update while we're here. And finally, Charlie, before we sort of wrap it up, what's your thoughts on Moyes with what he's sort of doing? He's brought in, obviously, Rob Newman. He's brought in a medical specialist from West Brom to sort of keep us fit and firing. What are you making of Moyes?
Hey, I'll be the first one. I wasn't happy with the when he came in because I thought we should have kept him the first time, but I didn't want to go. I thought it was like going backwards. You know what I mean? But I hold my hand up and be like, hey, you know what? You got to be happy with the gaffer, man. There's one thing I do love about him. I love his counterattack, his pressing bits too. But one thing I love about him is pinpointing talent. And that's not only players, but like as you was saying, his backroom staff. He's like, I want this guy, this guy, this guy. He wanted to be good at set pieces. He brought in man for the set piece. You know, he brought in every situation, and all of them. I give Moyes the credit, but all of them together, it's like the perfect little combination. You know what I mean? And he brought him in, and I just want to give the back because all the credit goes to the gaffer, right? But I just want to give Nolan and the rest of PSC and all of them. They need to all get their due because I think they all do bits. And he brought him in. He basically told GSP, I'm not having it. I need these guys. Because remember, they didn't want to let him have a few of those guys. They were like going to deny him. And everybody that he's brought in so far, you can't always hit a home run. But hey, everybody he's brought in, it worked out. Even the Lingard, I wasn't like super happy. I was like, hey, it could work. We'll see. And it turned out to be like, you know what I mean, the greatest thing since sliced bread. So
yeah,
I got to give Moyes a good grade. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I think Moyes has done a great job. I think, let's be honest, every West Ham fan, when he was being reappointed, couldn't believe what we were seeing. Like, we wanted to go in a sort of direction and basically progress. But he took his time with us. He's got the players in that he wants. He's developed players and all, Charlie. I don't know about you, but like Craig Dawson coming in and playing the way he did last year. This season, not so good, but last season he was very good. He's getting the best out of Antonio now. I'm seeing a different Pablo Fornals, like from what I'm seeing last year to now. I think, he's doing good, but I think he needs help, and that leads me on to my final question of the night, and that is, how do you see the board now?
Oh, I see him the same. I see him the same. What they spend. Everybody's like, oh, give him a pass. No, I ain't no give him a pass. Yeah. I'm not giving him a pass. I'm not. Period. They should have backed him way more. And you can't, like, okay, that's what they're supposed to do. And if they think that's doing it big, like they promised, that's not doing it big. That's doing it about average. What they let him spend. And that's just the way it is. I don't trust
20 million of that. 20 million that, Charlie, was Haller's money. So they only really spent 40 million, which is, in the grand scheme of things, for a Europa League club, is peanuts, really.
Right. I'm not gonna switch. If I say I don't trust them, I don't trust them. Just because the boys play hard to win games and the gaffers got them playing out of their mind, that's on them. Their business that they do and the shenanigans they pull. That I'm not gonna switch my mind because Moyes got the boys playing good, or because Declan's good, you know what I mean? That has nothing to do with my trust of them, period. I'm not going to switch. If once I've made up in my mind, I don't trust you. That's like you going out with a bird, right? She cheats on you. If that happens to me, she's done. I'm not, let's get back there. You lied, you cheated, it's done. And to me, all three of them, they're like birds that cheated. You know what I mean?
I must admit, that's a great analogy, mate. I've got to admit, because that is exactly how I would be. Like, once you've done that, once you've stepped over the line now, there is no return, so to speak. And I agree. I think they've done. I think this window was, like, in my opinion, I rated the window a 6 out of 10. I said it was good, but it could have been better than good. It could have been amazing. Like a left back, a striker. Just think if you've got a centre forward there and you've got a left back there, we've got cover in every position. Now we're worrying about individuals, so to speak, who basically could get injured. It could derail our season. Like, do you know what I mean?
Right. Listen, we don't get this opportunity that much. Other clubs, they get Champions League all the time. The reality is, we got here. Everybody's excited that we're here. So I was like, yo, just one time that they could clean their name a little bit and show us some ambition. It was right now.
Yeah. I agree.
I think they could have did a little. I think they could have did a little more. That's just me.
Well, moving on from them and moving on to Saturday, because I've seen people in the chat, and I will get to the chat. It's just that when you're engrossed in conversation, us men can't do two things at once. But what do you make of it, Charlie? Coming up, obviously, Southampton the weekend. We're second in the league. They haven't won a game yet. St. Mary's, what's your thoughts?
They haven't won a game, but I watched them play. I went back because when I go to do my preview, I like to watch some games, so I'm not just looking at the name and saying the name. I think they got a cheeky little squad that if you don't prepare and you ain't on your best day, they could do you some damage. They played Man United really tough. They didn't have a lot of possession that game, but I think they had the draw. I think they came with a draw. They played Newcastle. They had a lot of possession in that game. That when they was going forward, they looked like they looked like a good little side. They got that new young bull, Invermonto, or whatever, from Chelsea. He was their young academy player. Yeah, I really rate him. They played him at fullback. I think he could play up top on the wing too. Of course, they got Ward-Prowse. They got Adam Armstrong. And what could really make it go is Che Adams, because he don't stop. He's like their motor man, right? He plays up top next to him, and he's constantly on the go. And I tell you what, when they play Newcastle, when they decided to press, it was in tune. It was it was timely fashion. Like this man would go, that man would go, kind of like how we did Leicester. And when Crystal Palace started to press us in the second half, we didn't fancy that. We didn't. When people could say, "Oh, when we lose, they don't like to give the other team credit." Listen, when Crystal Palace started pressing us, that's when shit changed in the game. So, and with all the boys we got on international, Suchek, Antonio, Rice, Vladdy, these men have been playing. Now they got to travel back and stuff like that. So this could be one of them sneaker games, man. I'm kind of worried. You know what I mean? But I do respect Southampton. They've added some people. I'm a gambler, so I'm watching. I don't just like. I'm not gonna lie. Listen, and like you said, they haven't won one yet. And what's the thing? Oh, you haven't scored a goal. You ain't gotta. Well, here goes Weston. No matter if we're doing good, if it's a situation like that, like Gallagher, he didn't score all year. Boom, boom, boom. He plays us up 2. He bags in 2. Mohamed Salah went like 11 games. I think it was the year before without scoring. He was on a drought. Rocks up versus us, gets a goal. So I'm not gonna lie, they're a cheeky little side, man. You got to watch for them.
I think this game we could start slow. I think if we can get to half time, if we can nick a goal, then great. If we can get to half time 0-0 or 1-0, for instance, I would be happy because I think like half our squad's going to be away on international. You're going to have Zuma away, Kafal, Souček, Rice, Antonio.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Zuma as well. Yeah,
yeah. Ben Rama's going to be away. I think Ben Rama's on his way back now. I believe Fornals has been away, so we're going to have a lot of players in our starting lineup who's going to be
everybody. This is like the whole squad is crazy.
And then when you look at Southampton, I think they've only got an handful, like two, three, four, whatever. Like, do you know what I mean? I can't think of any. Like, I know Che Adams played for Scotland, but then obviously James Ward-Prowse don't think he's in the England squad at present. I could be wrong. And I look at their team, and there's not a lot of players who's in their first team who would give. Do you know what I mean? Who would be playing against us. Saying that, it'd be interesting to see how the boys do come back with the new signings. So I think Zuma at the back.
When's the next England game? Is that today?
The next England game is tomorrow, away in Poland. So, which ain't. Let's be honest, it ain't a bad. It's not bad, but we all know that Rice is going to play in that game.
Yeah, he's going to play versus Poland. They're not the greatest side, but they're still decent enough where he's going to run. He's going to run the boys out there. You know it.
Yeah, and he's going to play. And let's be honest, once that game is done, they'll be on a flight back to London, and he'll probably be sitting in his house about 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock in that morning. Do you know what I mean?
Did the Czech already finish? Did they finish all their? Or they have another one left as well?
I think the Czech Republic are playing tonight. I think, and it's their last game. There's a few games tonight and a few games tomorrow. But I know France are playing tonight, which is good. So that means it gives Zuma an extra day to get back to us.
Having international players, it's a good and bad thing because obviously your team's good if you got international players. They're getting call ups, but it's bad because they're gonna run. They're gonna get those minutes. Their legs are gonna be tired, and the Moyes likes to press nonstop running. So, you know what I mean? I'm just worried that the boys are going to be a little bit running low on petrol when they get back, if you know what I mean. So,
yeah, I agree. I really do. Hammers fans United, Flashes to score, come off the bench. Listen, if he can start doing that for us, then it's a gem again, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm a bit like 50. I'm a bit on the fence with Flasage. Crowell, I think he will come good. Zuma, we know what we're getting, and Areola. Me and you have spoke before, Charlie, and I've said I rate that man highly.
Yeah,
and I want him at West Ham. So, yeah, and so give us your prediction then, Charlie. Because I'm going to be doing a prediction show towards the end of the week and a betting show. So, give us your prediction for Southampton versus West Ham, right?
Ah, man, before I realized the international stuff, we did a video. I forget. I think it was with Peach. Maybe with Uncle Lee. I can't remember who it was, but I think I said 3-1. But you know what? Now that I've watched Southampton, I've watched 3 or 4 of their games on replay, and I'm thinking about the tiredness and the boys coming back from travel. You know what? I almost want to say if I get 2-2, like a draw, like really. You know what I mean? I think the boys, everybody's on international.
HFU has said 2-2, and Scott, being the confident man he is, has said 3-7. I'm more optimistic than that. I think it could be. Do you know what? One thing I will say, Charlie, if you want a good bet for the weekend, this is a little thingy. Under 2.5 goals in this game. I don't believe there'll be a lot of goals in this game. I believe this game will be either 1-1, 1-0, or 0-0. Yeah,
West Ham, yeah,
because I just think
to check the odds on that.
Because I just think that both teams are going to be slow in the first half, and I think West Ham drew their 0-0 last year, and it was a boring game. It was round about Christmas time. And obviously, I don't want to see that. I want to see Ben Rama score 7 goals and get me betting. But
you need him to get at least 1, right?
Yeah, I'll be happy with him scoring on Saturday. But
I wish I could have got that bet, bro. I wish I could have got it. I had Lukaku early on. I got him like 6-1 to be the top goal scorer in the Premier League. That was the only one I could get. I jumped on that.
Yeah, I must admit. But yeah, when it's all said and done, if it does come in, then there's going to be a lot of happy people with me. So that's a first. But yeah, it's just, so you reckon 2-1, Charlie? Yeah.
No, I'm gonna say 2-2 draw. I'm gonna be totally honest. I want the boys to win. People get mad if you don't pick it. You can't pick us to win every game, but the travel situations, Ben Rama, Fornals, everybody, every player that we count on is out on international duty. Every single one. You understand? Like, that's a lot, to play all them games plus the training. Then all of them are traveling from different spots back. You ever take a long plane ride? You know what I mean? Maybe a couple hours ain't nothing, but you take a long plane ride, you got to catch more than one plane. You feel a different way going through time zones and heights and levels, and your body got to adjust to different climates. And man, they gotta knock this international stuff off. They should have waited more down the season. I think it was too early to start. It could hurt some teams.
Yeah, I don't agree with international breaks halfway. Well, at the beginning part of the season, I think if they're going to do anything, they should do like a little tournament or do like the qualifiers in the summer instead of having pre-season. Do your pre-season, then do your qualifiers. Yeah, you know what I mean,
give them like a 2-3 week break. I don't know if you want to do it during the season. Give them a little bit of break to where they could bounce back. And then they can transition from all the traveling and all the playing. That's just a lot. That's a lot of ball, man. A footy, you running. Your legs can only do so much. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm kind of worried. I wouldn't be worried in normal circumstances, but listen, I don't know. I think a draw. If we get a draw, it is what it is.
And I know I keep saying this, but this is the final thing. Does Zuma start for you over Dawson on Saturday?
Oh yeah, absolutely. He starts for me. Absolutely. Listen, and I respect Dawson what he did last year. But listen, he's the best guy's going to play, and Zuma. Let's face it, he's younger, quicker. One of Dawson's greatest strengths was putting his head on the ball. Well, Zuma he's the man at that. You go look at his numbers, and it would have been made. He might even he didn't get that many. If he would have got more starts, it would have been even more. It's like this. I think Zuma's he has to. He's got to play, and that's not a knock against Dawson. That just comes as a football background. The best guy plays. You understand? That's just the way it is. You can't love a player more than you love the club, and if your guy gets the bench. Sometimes that's just the way it is. You can't. People getting their feelings. They need to knock that off. There ain't no crying in footy. Yeah, that's just, you know what I mean.
And I agree with you on that, because if it was, for instance, if their player come in, and I like Ben Rama, and last year he was getting benched a hell of a lot, and I thought it was very unjust. Now Dawson is a backup player, and that's what he is. He's a backup. He's a backup defender.
Yeah.
Like
he knows he is. Team. That's why he signed a backup's wage. I mean,
yeah. £2 million for a defender in the Premier League. That is a backup at best. I mean,
right. If he thought he was what people think, and he works hard and all that, and we appreciate that at West Ham. That's what I think grows to his legend. But if he would have thought he was more than that, and he would have asked for more money, he signed that $2 million quick. And to be honest, I think when he signed that $2 million, he was buzzing. He was like, $2 million, okay. For him at his age, where he's at now. He's a good soldier for us. To have a backup of that quality, his experience, he could help Zuma and help Diop as well. The young lads bring him along. And when it comes to Europa, I feel confident. Or if one of them go down, I'm happy with him going in there. But he's a backup. That's just what it is.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Charlie. Boy, totally, mate. Well, Charlie, I want to thank you for coming on tonight, mate. I really do appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me, bro. Thanks for having me.
Man. And I've got a few things coming up in the week that I'm going to be doing. I'll do a preview. I've got a betting thing that I'm going to be doing coming out. These are all my selections, so if you want to follow them, then great. If you don't, then fair enough. You know what I mean? Don't hate on me if it don't work, but it's just my faults and my analysis on
I got a thing that people's about to hate because on Hammers Unite on Titch's channel, I picked one from each player of the Prem, right? Each team. And he got then now people's gonna rate my team 1 through 10, right? So I already know. So you got to do it too. You got to get up with Titch. You got to do that because that'll be fire. I'll see who you.
No
pick.
worries, mate. You've got my contact details, Charlie. Just give me a shout, and I'll happily come on there and do it. Yeah, I've got a couple of things coming up. I just want to thank everyone who's sort of been about tonight and in the chat and everything else. And any final thoughts, Charlie, before we wrap it up, mate?
I just hope all the boys come back healthy and they don't get hurt, especially Rice. He's got one more game to go. I hope they could get through Poland. I hope they win. I hope no injuries. I hope everybody comes back in one piece, has safe travels, no COVID. And then I'm happy to get back to Saturday because I miss it. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
I miss it. I miss it.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I really do. That's been Charlieboy. Thanks for coming on, mate. As I say, always a pleasure. I want you back on here again soon. You speak well. You speak from the heart. And even though you're all the way in America, you're as passionate as someone who lives 10 minutes up the road. So, yeah, much respect to you, mate. That's been me for tonight. I'll be back again soon. Thanks, everyone, and take care.
Laters.